do the ordinary things exceptionally well. My friends, as we look at the end of this week, we see that everything is down on Friday except gold, which again, bouncing up quite nicely. We'll get to that when we get to it. First, we're going to jump into the S&P 500, then the NASDAQ 100. Check it out. After things popped up last Friday, that would be the 22nd of August, the week just sort of spun along as we got into Monday. Things slowed down on Tuesday morning, and then up Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, and then pulling back today. Still stayed above the weekly trend line. I updated the trend line as this candle ended for the week. And we see that on the 2-day chart, first day of the latest 2-day candle. Oh, by the way, markets closed on Monday for the holiday here in the States. Be open on Tuesday, so we'll have a shortened trading week. I'm also traveling out of the country, and I will be doing my best to put the shows up in a timely manner. I will be in Europe, and I'll do everything I can to get things up for you. Please give me a little bit of leeway during the Labor Day week holiday starting on Monday, and again, I'll do what I can for you. But as we look, we see some weakness at the end of the week. And again, that's the first pullback we've seen since we saw things pull back, on Tuesday. And then we saw things down in the morning, matching it about in the afternoon, down 0.60%. Didn't hit average volume on the weekly. First day of the latest 2-day candle, that won't complete until Tuesday. And we can see, volume nice during the day as things were moving down. We are still long on the S&P, but again, wondering just how long this is relentlessly going to move up. But my friends, we've seen things pull back some, move up, pull back some, move up. I mean, that has been what it's doing. When will it end? I don't know. There's going to be some catalyst that will cause that to happen. I don't know what it is, but at some point it will happen. And when it does, we'll be here following it, staying long in the meantime. Now look at the NASDAQ. It pulled back more than the S&P, 1.16%. That's pretty decent pullback for the day. Now, again, like the S&P, from the 15th of August through the 21st of August, we saw the NASDAQ 100 pulling back. Then on Friday the 22nd, it popped up and it's pushed along, really moving up yesterday, and then pulled back strongly today. And look at what it's left us with. We almost were there average on the volume. We've got another doji, extreme indecision. It's below the weekly trend line on the weekly chart, below on the 2-day, and below on the half-day. So the NASDAQ is weaker than the S&P. Where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us really speculating if the NASDAQ is going to be starting to roll over. Those 2 dojis in a row, we haven't seen that throughout all of this up move, starting when things began to blast off back in late April. So we'll be very, very careful as we move into this next week to see what's going to be happening with the tech stocks. What about 20-year U.S. government bonds? They pulled back. We saw where they bounced up strong on Thursday, and then they pulled back below the weekly trend line. Now, that's not much of a trend line. That's almost horizontal. But look at the dojis here. Going into the fourth one, you want to talk about indecision on the 2-day chart, and doji's pretty much on the weekly chart. Again, trending a little bit down, but hard to make any kind of call whatsoever there. Patreon members, you'll see in your trade execution summary grid some of the numbers there for it, but again, on the probability and the backtest accuracy. But again, with such a flat trend line, that's not the kind of thing I'm going to practice trade, much less really trade off of. Let's look at gold. Now, it's fascinating to watch how gold on this half-day chart spiked up last Friday and has just been gaining speed and volume as it has moved along. Hasn't quite hit average volume yet on the first day of this latest 2-day candle, but it really popped. And look at what it did for the week. Now again, gold was, originally it was moving down in late June and then sideways, popped up a little bit, then rolled back, then popped, then rolled back. Last week was a doji. And then this week it started getting some energy. Really, it got some energy at the end of last week and then continued to push up and just shoving along, particularly with that volume. So again, we'll watch as gold moves into this next week and see if it continues to catch fire. As far as the high that we see in gold, we see the high, 317.63 back on the week beginning the 21st of April. 317.60 back on the 9th of June, 316.24 on the week beginning the 21st. These are all week beginnings. And as we look at where it ended throughout the week as it continued to move up, reaching its high, it looks like in the afternoon on Friday, reached a high of 318.09. 318.09 is its high. And again, the high of highs as gold has continued to move up. So again, gold just gaining almost 1% today. So we'll see if that's going to portend higher highs and gold continuing to move and gain further momentum. Lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin pulling back 3.35%. We have a down trend line. We have a decent sized candle, not quite average volume. Hasn't been average volume or more since the 28th of July. We see the 2-day chart moving down, price well below it on the 2-day and the half-day. Big down day for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pulling back after hitting its most recent high back on the week beginning the 11th of August, getting up there to record high 34.79. And again, that was a little higher than the 34.55 we saw back on the 14th of July. This was the week I'm talking about with the high of highs back on the 11th of August. So it's now going into its second week of pullback. And that's not unusual. We can see it happening here where we go back to January, late January, and then Bitcoin pulled back and then took off again, hit a high, pulled back a little bit. The latest move up. And we had a couple of dojis, and then it popped up again on the 11th of August and then seems to be pulling back. Again, you'll have these things happen where assets move, equities move, they move up to highs, then there's profit taking. I call it digestion. It happens going down as well as going up. And that appears to be where we are with Bitcoin at this time. My friends, thanks so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. Like I said, I'm traveling over this Labor Day holiday, and through the course of next week, I will do all I can to get the show to you from Europe. I thank you so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best. All of you United States who are taking the Labor Day holiday, I do wish everyone a great weekend, and all of the folks with the Labor Day holiday enjoy Monday at least, I hope. And for our European friends and friends all over the world, just be aware, U.S. market's going to be closed on Monday for that holiday. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.